Well, Juneteenth is the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of slavery here in the U.S.
As our nation's observance comes more than a century after the historical date in American history, there's a woman in Brooklyn who's been observing the day and all that it represents.
And News 12's Phil Tate visits a home in Bed-Stuy where the preparations are underway.
It's a celebration that starts from scratch.
Finally being free, I have to celebrate that.
Juneteenth celebrations in Lauren Brown-Akowe's Brooklyn backyard are more than just a gathering. Meats are being prepped and primed for the big day. She says what she's serving up tells a story.
My family is from Brazoria, Texas. My grandfather grew up in Galveston, and then he later pastored a church in Galveston.
Her descendants, bound by the shackles of slavery,
was able to trace back my family to a plantation there. And I still have family that lives in Brazoria on some of those lands, probably that they were sharecroppers on.
For Lauren, it's her family's history rooted in pain. On June 19, 1865, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by President Abraham Lincoln, General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, proclaiming the enslaved were finally free.
What an atrocity. And then now in 2022, over 150 years later, that people are just now publicly acknowledging it.
After the George Floyd killing, followed by weeks of social unrest, a renewed push of Juneteenth significance gained national attention.
The yeas are 415 and the nays are 14. The bill is passed.
The House approved legislation commemorating Juneteenth, a federal holiday. President Joe Biden's signature sealed the deal.
Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning.
But even if Lauren had to wait even longer for a public acknowledgement, her Juneteenth joy is simply bubbling over.
For us New Yorkers, for those living here in the tri-state area, what were those Galveston celebrations really like?
The marching bands, the food, you know, we have, it's pretty much a staple thread. People get upset about it, but I mean, it is really like the chicken, you know, the red soda, the watermelon, whatever you wanted to bring, whatever you wanted to make, it was all a part of it.
She even shared secrets of her homemade fried chicken that pays homage to her roots.
It's old school, a paper bag, and we have our flour. I put my herbal blend, and then my resident Cajun seasoning. I add my chicken. We're gonna fry this. And do you know about Juneteenth?
And her 2-year-old isn't left out. Chalking the concrete backyard, showing appreciation for the day that her young mind is still learning about.
You know, what slavery is, like what it means that they come from people who went through unsurmountable difficulty, and now they are able to live in a world where they can thrive and where they may grow up learning about it in school.
While the day is more than just about food, rather impactful conversations for all, Lauren wouldn't let me go without trying some savory fried chicken that simply tells a story.
When I cook for you, that means I like you.
So you like
yes,
me?
Yes, I do. I like you, Phil.
In Brooklyn, Phil Tate.
Because it's an expression of love.
News 12.